Hello everyone, so happy Friday. Hopefully everyone's having a good day. If not, I understand it's rough right now in the world with everything going on. But I just kind of wanted to share something that I was thinking about. And it all started because I've been watching Magnum PI. And if any of you have seen Magnum PI, or if you haven't, Magnum PI is a show from the 80s. It ran from 1980 to 1988, and it stars Tom Selleck. And Tom Selleck has been my fixation as of lately. And I've always been like this in life, in which I love people. I think that people are the most fascinating thing in the world. It's such a privilege to be able to connect with each other, to learn about each other, to engage with each other in other ways. Other ways, but every way, right? And since I was a kid, I would be obsessed with reading about people. When I was younger, especially dead people, I loved to read about people who had already passed away, because you can learn so much information about them. Pretty much all the information that's out there and available is out there. And so I'm a big biography person, right? I'm a person who loves to read about different biographies. Or growing up, I used to love watching documentaries about people, and Wikipedia, read articles, read books, all sorts of stuff. And I would just learn so much about people. I'll give examples. I guess when I was a kid, I used to love reading about Abraham Lincoln. I found him to be very fascinating. I read a lot about Helen Keller. I had even taught myself how to do sign language, which I cannot do very well anymore. But had an obsession with Bukowski for a while. I had an obsession with Basquiat. And also, too, just different topics that are related to people. I did have an obsession at some point with Mexican wrestling and learning about that, like luchadors, lucha libre, things of that nature. And do you see my cat's tail? And by obsession, I don't mean it's just for lack of a better term or word or phrase, right? Because I don't really become obsessed with these things. They just pique my interest. It's like an intellectual interest, I suppose. If you couldn't tell, I have ADHD. But it's just something that I end up being wow, this is very fascinating. This is something that intrigues me, and I learn a lot about the person. And again, it's the biggest privilege and thing that you can have in the world, in life, is to be able to experience other people, experience other creatures, experience life as we know it, right? And to connect with it very deeply. And it's a responsibility, and it's an experience, and it's a beautiful experience we get to have. So lately, my interest has been Tom Selleck, and I don't know why. He kind of just popped up on my For You page a couple weeks ago. And I've seen him before, obviously. And it's actually funny because he was on Blue Bloods. I recognize the show just was in its final season. And it actually used to film by my house for many years. As we know, I am from New York, so it used to film by my house for so many years. And I just had, I knew that it filmed by there, but I never was really interested in crime shows or novels or anything. I know that true crime is a really big topic and stuff like that. My mom is very into true crime. The lady watches 48 Hours and Snapped and all that sort of stuff. All of that stuff where people are losing their minds, and there's so many different things. She watched Dateline and all sorts of insanity like that. And I know true crime podcasts have been a really big thing. Me personally, maybe my nervous system is not wired in that way, where it's enticing to me to be like freaked out like right before bed or doing things. I don't know. I know that's like a big draw for a lot of people. It's like the fear and intrigue of it is almost like calming to people. But I never really had that fascination. And Blue Bloods is like it's a crime show, and a cop show and stuff like that. But it's funny because I've known about this person, right, Tom Selleck, for a while. And again, they used to film like right by my house often. And I just, never thought anything of it. So it's funny to me now that I'm interested in him, and I've been watching some of his stuff or just seeing clips of his. And I'm like, wow, like he's just been like right down my block for, I don't know, like 10, 15 years, and I just didn't think anything of it. And now when all of that's over, I'm interested now, of course. But so I was thinking a lot about him because, he's a very fascinating human being, in my opinion. I think he represents an energy that's not really all that common, just in general, but I think an energy that's kind of lost nowadays, and it's an energy that people are very aware that they want to have in life and to see in the world. It's this openness, I think, and it's this integrity, and I think that we're missing a lot of that in the world right now. And so I just started finding him very fascinating, and I would watch his clips on my Instagram For You page, and I was like, wow. I mean, obviously, if you've never seen Tom Selleck, he is very easy on the eyes. He's a very handsome man. Even now, he's 80 years old. He just turned 80. He's still very handsome. You would not think he was 80 years old. He looks phenomenal for his age. But it's a certain energy that he brings, right? He has an energy that I think is not, oh my God. Bless you. Okay, little Bubbington. Okay. He brings an energy that's not, we don't really see that often in the world right now. And I could go into talking about, what he's kind of known for, which a lot of people say is like his masculinity and, things of that nature. I know that there's this topic of like male loneliness epidemic and the like, and all that stuff. But that's not really what I want to talk about. What I do want to talk about is his energy regarding to his show Magnum PI, which, like I said in the beginning, I've been watching because I find something very, very interesting very, very interesting Okay, I just stopped the video because my mom came in and then there were sirens. She didn't know that I was recording something, so I'm just gonna have to add both videos together. Hopefully you don't mind the glitch. But anywho, so I've been watching the show, and I think, like I said, I could go on about this topic now lately, people talking about the male loneliness epidemic. I could go in about like him representing this idea of masculinity and the like. But that's not what I kind of wanted to get into. Okay, so my mom was nice enough to get my headphones for me because I have Cat on my lap. My cat has been dying to have me sit in this exact seat because she loves sitting in front of the window, and she wants to sit on somebody's lap. She will die for a crumb of somebody's lap. No joke. But anywho, so long story short, I don't want to get into that aspect of it. What I do want to get into is I don't want to say the concept of the show, but something that I think is a very important idea and message for people in life in general which is always, 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 always answer the call. That's what I've been trying to get to in this long-winded rant about Tom Selleck and my fascination with human beings and the world in general. Magnum PI is, answer the call, okay? Because what I found fascinating about his character, right? You could go into all the obvious points of why people might find the show fascinating. It has to do with crime and mysteries and solving things. Or, obviously, Tom Selleck is a good-looking guy. You might look at it from that angle and just want to have a crush on somebody, or just look at, eye candy. Totally valid. You might look at it from the angle of, like I said, masculinity, quote unquote, right? Where this is a guy, in the show, he's a war veteran. He drinks beer. He has a mustache. He goes about his life, and he's like in that sort of thing. And people might look at those very like surface level things and be like, yeah, born to be an American. You know what I mean? Like, they might just look at that, and that's like the whole point to them. But what I find most fascinating about this character and about the show in general is that he always answers the call. And what I mean by that is, yes, this is a person that represents all these things, but he is so shameless and open to life. So shameless and open to life. Even things that he finds ridiculous. There are episodes that I've seen. I'm only on the second season. I'm taking a bit of a break from watching it. Usually I could just binge the whole thing and watch it, but I've been kind of busy the past couple of days, so I was just like, okay, I'll let my mind sort of rest on this. But he's a private investigator, obviously PI, right? And he always answers the call, not just to people trying to call him and do the crimes and solving this stuff, but he answers the call to life. And I think that's so important. He's so open to life. He's very shameless, and he's open to life and whatever it is that's bringing him, whatever it is that is going on. And he has almost like a bit of a chaos to him that makes him a little bit of a menace, and it's very funny and it's very endearing. But I think it's a lesson that all of us can think about and learn and try to implement more in our own lives, is just that idea of flow, right? And like, a lot of life happens on the in-between, you know what I mean? There's a lot of aspects of life that are kind of mundane, and there are a lot of aspects of life that people might think are boring, and there are the memorable aspects of it, when you get older, and the parts that people really talk about are these big, pinnacles or major moments or anything of the like. But what we're really living is that in between, right? What we're really living and we're in is that in between. And he is really great, or at least the character, right? His character is fantastic at just, being so open and so accepting of whatever is thrown at him, whatever comes his way. In the show so far, I have seen things about ghosts. I've seen, one woman was a psychic and was predicting like her ex-partner's death. He's had somebody who pretends to play a ghost. He's had so many different experiences and dealing with so many different people. He had one woman who like came to him and only had like a postcard to work with and to deal with, and was like, this is my only thing that I can find to help me find this person and do this, and he just runs with it. He runs with it, and everything in life, he just has this inner confidence and this belief that things are going to work out. He has this understanding that he is protected, or he is looked out for, or he is gonna be okay. And that allows him to run with the chaos of life. That allows him to run with whatever is going on, whatever is thrown his way, whatever is happening. And it works. It fucking works. And it's incredible. And it's, like, I think we see so many times, like, spiritual teachers or people or whatever it is talking about you know, you have to flow. You gotta go through the ebbs and the flows, and you have to, like, accept or have, like, detachment or let go so you can surrender to life or whatever. But, you know, it's like, what does that really look like? What does that really feel like? What does that really mean? And I think in the most simplest form, it's that idea of just answering the call. You know, it's that idea that whatever gets thrown at you, whatever, you know, the universe or God or what have you, whatever you believe in, doesn't matter to me. Whatever, when you wake up in the morning and you get that call, right? It can be a big call, a small call, checkup, anything. When you get that call for what your day is going to be like or how things are going to go, if you answer that call and you pick it up and you just go into it, you feel it out, you go into it, and you take everything that you are at this moment into that and use all your skills, use all your sensibilities, use all your flaws, use all your weaknesses, use all of your imperfections to answer that call as perfectly imperfect as can be, and it will work out for you. And it's that confidence in knowing that whatever the call is, whoever's calling, whatever is going to be that task or that experience for the day or even for the week or the month or the year or your life, whatever that call is, like I said, obviously some calls can be bigger and some calls can be smaller. You might just be waking up and the day is, again, very mundane. You might just be sitting on the couch with your cat for right now at 3 p.m. Or it might be a life-changing thing. It might be something that is insane that you have to deal with, and you get up and you run and you almost miss putting your socks on because you have to be there so quickly and deal with something astronomically, biblically, you know, massive and difficult, and or massive and amazing, and there's so much excitement or whatever it is. But always got to answer the call and know that whatever happens, you'll be all right. That's the thing that I feel like is so important for people to remember. You know, there's so many terms for it: surrender, letting go, detachment, allowing. I don't know. There's so many different ways to go about it. But I think that a lot of the time people can struggle, and I mean, I struggle with this all the time, to sort of fixate on that idea, or almost like that means of an end of like, okay, well, I want to reach this thing. I want to reach this state of mind or state of being, and then you're doing everything to kind of work towards it, right? And that's, you know, a form of control. That's a form of fixation. That's, you're not going to get to where you're going that way by trying to control how you're letting go or how you surrender or how you detach or anything like that. You know, when it's as simple as doing like what Magnum PI does, and you just answer the call, you know, the phone rings, you pick up, whatever is said, whoever it is from, whatever happens, you know that I'm going to answer the call. I'm going to go where I'm being led. I'm going to go where I'm being guided to. I'm going to follow the lead of whatever it is, that extra something, that special third thing in the world that's out there that guides us, this gut feeling, this intuition, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to answer that call for the day, for the moment, and know I'm all right. Mm-hmm.